Hello and welcome. I am your host, Jayzon, and I'm going to be hosting another non-Dragonshire, but indeed Braxis Hold map here for Chair League. Thank you very much for joining me, guys, for this Division 2 match. Big Dick Damage going up against East Coast Feeders, and should be a pretty good one. Again, be given this disclaimer a couple times through here. We're not on Dragonshire, even though Sylve would be a decent ban on Dragonshire, but it is indeed going to be Braxis Holdout, which is going to instantly spawn out that Sylvanas ban. And we'll have to see where these teams decide to go here. Braxis Holdout, a fairly new map, but of course not the newest. We're not actually seeing anybody breaking out the Warhead Junction pick just yet, so no big shockers coming right off the bat. But we do have everybody together in lobby, getting everything ready to go here as Zagara will be the ban out from East Coast Feeders. Not a huge surprise. Zagara does get quite a bit of value on this map, and talk about surprises. Here comes Malfurion from Big Dick Damage. The rework coming in yesterday from Malfurion. I've been hearing whispers that Malfurion has become very, very legit, and Big Dick Damage not wasting any time getting their hands on the new and improved Malfurion, a support that has really been on the very, very outskirts of the meta for a very, very long time. We do see the response here from East Coast Feeders. They are going to take the Brightwing. We'll have to see how this new Malfurion plays. I haven't done a whole lot of research myself. Malfurion is actually historically one of my favorite supports to play, being a support main. I used to play him a lot, right down to the days when I first started in Heroes of the Storm, playing more of like a Boomkin build for him, but definitely not the right way to go back then. But it still was decent with the CC that you see Malfurion give, especially to follow up big heroics like Maw, like Mosh. A lot of cool things you can do with that. But we do see Kael'thas will be the pickup here for East Coast Feeders. A hero that's been slowly but surely falling out of the meta. We'll have to see if maybe some of these new changes really help to build up Kael'thas. Certainly, this map does promote good wave clear, which Kael'thas has in abundance when he goes with that Flame Strike build. So two pretty strong picks for the map coming out here. You always like Global Presence, but Big Dick Damage, thinking Kerrigan here, going to go straight in with even more CC. You got the pull-in with the Kerrigan combo possibility there, and then a possible follow-up already from those entangling roots from Malfurion. So should be interesting to see if they continue to... And there it is. Muradin is going to come out right with that frontal stun. Going to throw his hammer at people, get them to stop just long enough for Kerrigan to be able to jump on them, and Malfurion with the follow-up. This is starting to look a little bit ugly, because if there's any one thing that really helps you be able to control these beacons on Braxis Holdout is CC control and being able to rotate and get picks. You can force your opponents into pretty obvious rotations, pretty predictable rotations that you can respond to really, really well here on Braxis Holdout, and having the CC to be able to really make that happen when you want to go after those picks and respond to those rotations is a really big deal here. Li Ming will be the ban out from East Coast Feeders, getting a little bit of a burst damage chokehold there, as they already have Kael'thas. They know they weren't going to go double mage, so they get rid of the best one in the game in Li Ming. And I'll tell you what, Li Ming is a very scary combo to be putting with that CC combo that is already on the side of Big Dick Damage. So getting those resets off of those picks, definitely a good ban out here. It's a scary thought in that combo. So we will see the ban coming out here from Big Dick Damage. They could apply the tank chokehold if they so chose, but they are going to choose instead to ban out the hammer. So a strong engage style team coming out here from Big Dick Damage, and so they're a little bit worried about the concept of Sergeant Hammer in that stationary backline situation where she doesn't have to sit on a point. She could sit and pressure a point from far away, and you have to choose to either dive into the hammer and come off of that point to be able to do that, or you have to just sit back and take those constant hammer hits from afar, which you just can't do. So they choose to just ban it out so they don't have to deal with it. I like that ban. East Coast Feeders, 2 picks here. They still need a front line, but they're going to go with Lili. They're going to go ahead and set up this double support with a little bit extra damage probably coming out from Lili. We see a lot of this sort of PvE style Lili where she does a lot of extra damage, and you just basically build damage Lili. But ultimate sustain, really, when you can cups to get that a little bit of heavy sustain to be able to sustain an entire team through some kind of big combo, and then Brightwing's slow but steady sustained healing. So we'll have to see what they decide to go with here. And East Coast Feeder is going to elect to take Diablo. Another hero that's really been on the outskirts of the meta for quite a long time. Not bad at pressuring points, though. There are a lot of chokeholds that you can find yourself in where if Diablo comes charging at you, it's almost a guaranteed stun into a wall. So, but Big Dick Damage not wasting time. They already knew who they wanted. They're going to go double support as well with Tyrande coming out here. Even more CC power. And they're going to choose to take Jaina, the ultimate burst damage dealer. There's nobody in the game that does better raw DPS burst than Jaina. When she hits her combo, there is nobody that can survive those full combo hits between Ring and all 3 of her basic abilities paired with that level 7 upgrade. Not even Chen, I would venture, can survive that, but double sustain and double frontline coming out from East Coast Feeders. Very interesting. Double tank frontline. This could be a Diablo bruiser, but still 2 very tanky heroes on that side to go along with their double healing comp. And not a whole lot of damage for East Coast Feeders, whereas Big Dick Damage, as their name would suggest, not willing to sacrifice any damage to get that double support comp. Tyrande could put out a lot of damage just all on her own, but so can Lili. You can build damage Lili. We've seen that, as I said before, we've seen that a lot lately. But I really like Big Dick Damage in their comp here. I really think they have the ability to get the CC out, to get these rotations going, to get picks and start to make control on this map. Start to make control. That's probably not very good English, but I do think that they have that. The one thing I do like from East Coast Feeders, the Chen, the Diablo, they do have decent presence also to be able to at least attempt to hold these points. So we'll have to see who wins that struggle of wills here on Braxis Holdout. Going to be a lot of fun. Division 2 going to be coming at you very, very soon here, guys. We are loading in to the game. On the left, we do have Big Dick Damage with Chewy San on Kerrigan, Apocalypse on Muradin, Kronos on Malfurion, Jason on Jason 86 on Jaina, and Cartographer on Tyrande. Meanwhile, on the left, your red team, East Coast Feeders, Zengo will be playing Diablo, Archer on Brightwing, Rue on Lili, Josh on Kael'thas, and Teehee Tyler on Chen. Black screen. Let's see. Don't know what they're talking about.
Systems online.
I'm definitely not on a black screen on, maybe Scarew might be having problems with the stream there. I apologize if there's something going wrong on your end.
Time for action.
It looks like to me like we got everything going just fine. I'm playing it myself here on Twitch, so it looks pretty decent. So both teams electing to send 3 to the bottom lane, 2 to the top lane. Going to split up those supports. Pandemonium up here in the top lane. Teehee Tyler just going to go ahead and get those shields rolling a little bit with that Trinket, just trying to bait them on in. In the bottom lane, we got the ultimate CC trio here. Nothing's more scary than when that Kerrigan combo comes out with Tyranda's mark. Is this patch going to be the return of Tyrande? We haven't seen her in the format very much for a very long time, but a lot of stuff changing with this patch, with this final upgrade. Seems like the final chapter to finally getting all of Machines of War in here for this patch that came out yesterday. And right away, this combo coming out on Zango, but Apocalypse missing the hammer, Photographer missing the Lunar Flare, so they're going to have to get on the same page if they want to be hitting these combos. Apocalypse getting shoved out here by Zango, the Polymorph coming out, a CC combo coming out themselves as Josh hits that Gravity Lapse. Apocalypse is going to get very, very low, but Zango will also get low and have to go back. Overall, that exchange, though, very well done there by East Coast Feeders in the top lane. We do see Tank and support winning out here against Malfurion Jaina, where they're actually going to go ahead and send Jaina down towards this bottom lane, maybe trying to rotate here to get around to the back end, try and catch somebody out, but East Coast Feeders not having any of that. They're staying very safe back on the wall, not going to allow Jason to get much value there. But they are going to take this bottom. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Chen can just pretty much sit up there and drink all day without a care in the world. But again, able to get Apocalypse out of position here. Going to get a ton of damage out on him with the use of those cannons, pushing him back into tower range. But of course, that's Muradin. He's got third wind, so he's not going to have any problem healing back up in a hurry. Just needs to take a step out for a little while. But we do see aggressive take of this bottom beacon, while in the top lane, it is going to end up being a fight here. But ultimately, Chewy Swan going ahead and making their way up to be able to capture that. So just trading beacons at this point. Kind of like what you see on Dragonshire. There's a lot of similarities on this map. Having to hold 2 points and able to really get the map objective can be kind of a rough go. Apocalypse yet again able to use that Dwarf Toss to get out of trouble, and is just going to have to sit back with his third wind for a little while. Good solid mastery of that hero, knowing that he's able to go in deep, and always, as long as he has that Dwarf Toss available, he's never in that much trouble, and not being too overly aggressive about having to stay in and really enabling those Tyrande heals on the bottom to not have too much pressure on the limited support power of Cartographer there on Tyrande. Ultimately labeled a support and not a healer, because there's just not a lot of raw healing output with Tyrande. But we do see Zango going in very, very deep here, trying to get the combo out on Rue, but Zango slowly having to back away here, is probably not going to make it out here. Indeed, Chewy Swan jumping in there, the whole team with a nice coordinated effort, and they will capture this bottom beacon. Both beacons held just for a few seconds there by East Coast Feeders. Do get 6% out, but we do see the rotation coming in with Chewy Swan. Kronos also up here against Teehee Tyler. That's not going to be an easy grab for them, as they do rotate in to try and get this, but actually Teehee Tyler choosing to not really contest it at this moment, but is going to give himself a moment to drink up and think about whether or not he wants to take this. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we did see East Coast Feeders going ahead and pushing in with their 4-man, able to take that, and it's just about numbers. It's just a numbers game right now. We're actually going to see Apocalypse backing, Jason backing. Going to get a little extra health, a little mana. Cartographer actually stuck out here a little bit. Zango's going to go ahead and charge in, going to flip him over, and that's going to be an easy pick. Cartographer caught out too far there. And we're also going to see Archer going ahead and going to this top lane to help out Teehee Tyler. They're going to try and take this, but Chewy Swan being very patient about trying to capture this. The combo is going to come out. It does hit Brightwing. Josh is actually rotating up here as well to put some extra pressure here. They are finally going to be able to capture this. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Zango doing everything they can to try and keep a hold of this. And they are indeed going to be able to capture this. For now, they hold both beacons. This is a big moment in this match. They do have their level 7s. Kerrigan went down in the top lane, so they're not going to be recapturing that anytime soon. And this is just a 2 for 2 down here that we should be able to see Zango and Rue holding this off long enough to be able to capture these beacons. And indeed, they are going to get a 100% Zerg push here coming out of the top lane. They're also able to get that Muradin pick as well. So everything coming up East Coast Feeders here in the early part of this match. And here come the Zerg up in the top lane. They have this completely cleared out. Teehee Tyler going to be able to go on in here and drink about as much as he wants to try and help this Zerg push out. But Jason is going to go ahead and rotate up here in the response. Jaina has pretty darn good wave clear to be able to help push this out. And a lot of these early Zerg pushes are not as strong as you think they might be. Double Ultralisk in the front does hurt quite a lot, but as you can see, they're not going to get a whole lot of value. The 4-man defense, all that's really required. Photographer just barely getting away on Tyrande down there after getting in a little bit of trouble. Teehee Tyler actually getting very, very low. We do see the phase shift in from Archer. Teehee Tyler doing everything he can to go ahead and kite, but ultimately not going to be enough. He is going to go down. Very nice defense there from Big Dick Damage. They are able to make that work despite having that huge Zerg push, and able to also hold their own in the bottom lane. So right now 3-2 kills, nothing too crazy coming out. Pretty much dead even on XP, just a slight lead to East Coast Speeders, but a lot of that is tower damage. That's completely mitigatable later on here for East Coast Speeders. All they need to do is go ahead and get some structures of their own, and they'll be caught right back up. So nothing they can't recover from. We will see teams start to rotate out here to go ahead and pick up Mercs. So both teams doing a nice job of getting that done pretty early in the process here. Level 10 is going to be picked up here very soon by East Coast Feeders as they do continue to clear and soak both of these lanes nicely. A little bit of soak lost in the top lane by Big Dick Damage, but nothing too serious. I'll have to see what ults they decide to go here. We could see some interesting combinations with these double support comps and the double tank comp on the right. It is going to be Wandering Keg and Phoenix. Emerald Wind is going to come out here from Brightwing. Kerrigan actually going down in that bottom lane, getting a little bit too overly aggressive there. Meanwhile, we do see the charge in from Zango also getting very, very low as he we saw the aggression coming out, trying to catch Cartographer out there. It was a nice push in. He did get him into the wall. Level 10's also out here for Big Dick Damage. We do see Tranquility coming out from Malfurion, so that is going to be Tranquility Starfall choosing to go full battle Tyrande here with the Owl build and the Lunar Flare upgrade, or no, the Lunar Momentum, I should say, the basic ability cooldown reduction. No surprises with Ring and Avatar. There's going to be Water Dragon coming out there from Lili, so no healing ults here. It's all about zoning, but a ton of damage coming out here. Archer is going to get completely blown up, and no way that's going to work out. Kronos getting a ton of value from that sustain, being able to sustain that push and give his team the opportunity to push forward and the confidence that they needed to be able to take that point. Jaina also going down here as a huge fight breaking out on the bottom. Zango is going to end up going down. Rue's going to have to back out, and they're going to be able to capture that point, while in the top lane we see East Coast Feeders capturing that. They do get 56% on that hold though, so nice bit of value for them as they've gotten a good start already on their Zerg push. Rue getting a little bit out of position, but that stun missing from Apocalypse, not able to, but the Water Dragon coming out is going to force him to back up, and this 3-man rotation, they will take the beacons back. For now, Josh and Teehee Tyler doing what they can to try and go ahead and hold both of these, and they are doing a nice job. This is going to be, for the second time in a row, it's going to be 100-0, but they are going to pay for it. Kael'thas is going to go down, but this time in the bottom lane, we're going to see the full Zerg coming out, and they are going to choose to rotate 3 here. Yet again, Muradin getting a little bit caught out here. Apocalypse is going to have to waddle away, but here comes the clearing power of Starfall. This is why Tyrande is acceptable on this map, I think, is because of Starfall. We've seen this a couple of times, and does a decent job of getting a ton of damage out on those Zerg pushes. However, Kronos is completely thrown out here by Zango. Right in the middle of that Zerg push. No way they're going to survive. And that is a 2-for-0 exchange as East Coast Feeders doing a nice job of taking advantage of that Zerg push down there. Meanwhile, Teehee Tyler getting value in the top lane, able to get that down, and they'll be able to secure a little bit over a full level lead here on the side of East Coast Feeders. As Big Dick Damage starting to fall behind as they are starting to snowball a little bit here. Our East Coast Feeders gonna have to figure out something here in terms of rotations and how to try and take these beacons, because they have lost both of these beacons 100 to nothing, and that's gonna really start hurting after a little while here.
Nice work.
We will see both these teams immediately rotating to Merc. Chewy Swan actually is going to rotate to the top to go ahead and clear that and get a little bit of extra soaking value, as they are behind on XP, so they really do need it at this point. But both teams going to go ahead and capture their Mercs. Zango checking boss there. I don't think either team in a position to really be comfortable with boss at this point. Level 13s have been picked up here by Big Dick Damage, so no huge... but here comes the invade here from the side of Big Dick Damage. A very strong rotation, but ultimately Teehee Tyler with a very nice zoning keg to be able to get them off of his team. However, the lightning breath coming out here, completely unstoppable, so that Kerrigan combo not very effective, as the Phoenix is going to come out right away. They get that pick out on Kerrigan. Muradin also going down here, and the chase is on as East Coast Feeders with a very, very nice win in that top lane. A very nice response to that aggressive rotation, and we will see them immediately go to boss. These bosses, not a whole lot of health here. I should say this boss here on Brax's Holdout, not very much health. So these really do melt when you have all 5 members committed to it, especially if you have a nice sieging team like they do have. They have a lot of damage that they can put out on these things. Maybe not the most of any comp I've seen, considering they are double tank, double support, but certainly plenty of damage to be able to clear that in time. They'll also rotate and pick up their bruisers here. Gonna put them in a perfect position to capture this top beacon. And they are in control once again. Level 16s right around the corner, which is going to be a huge advantage for them to be able to push here very soon. And as if that wasn't enough, Big Dick Damage also having to worry about this boss in the top lane. Full rotation, a 5-man rotation coming out here to this bottom beacon. They know what they want. They want to be able to pressure in this top lane as soon as possible. But a little bit of a misplay, actually. Josh choosing to not stand on this point. It's gonna delay the Zerg push a little bit. They will actually be able to capture it here, but a little bit of mistiming there. Meanwhile, in this bottom lane, the wall itself will actually be able to clean this up, but Zango's gonna take a step back and go ahead and clear that. They're gonna push in this bottom lane away from the boss. The Zerg push is gonna be coming in that top lane, and the boss doing a really nice job cleaning up that front wall, even softening up that keep a little bit for the Zerg push. And this is a very scary moment if you are Big Dick Damage. It's going to be a full Zerg push. All 5 members are up here, and they have the level 16 advantage to East Coast Feeders. Look at this aggressive positioning. Teehee Tyler going to go ahead and go in around the backside, and they're going to completely isolate out Jaina with Barrel. Jason running for his life, but is not going to be able to make it out of that situation. Kronos is going to go down to Lightning Breath. We will see Diablo going down in return, but it's going to be in exchange there. 1 for 3 with Diablo coming back immediately from having enough souls to be able to come back up. Photographer in a ton of trouble is going to get the Starfall off to at least try to zone out a little bit of the Zerg and it is pushed, but I think this is too much. I don't know if there's a way they can come back from this. Photographer is going to go down to the Flame Strike. Here come the Zerg on the core. All 5 members up at this point. Diablo lagging a little bit behind, but not even going to need him. And this is going to be a big win for East Coast Feeders, evening out their win-loss record here in Week 4. GG.
Red team win.
And I'll tell you, I didn't give enough credit to East Coast Feeders in the beginning of this match. They had a comp that was very capable of holding these points two tanks. They would just send one on each side constantly to capture these beacons, and they didn't have any problem doing that all game long. Very, very nice moves coming out from them. And this double healer comp also worked out really, really well. They just rotated Rue around to be able to be wherever they needed, mostly in the bottom lane, but certainly went to the top a couple times. Meanwhile, Archer on that Brightwing doing a nice job of being able to phase shift up and down wherever needed. So they had good solid rotation ability, and just in general a good ability to capture those points. Ultimately led to their wins. Looking at the builds here, I don't really know Chen talents, I'm going to be honest, but Wandering Keg got a lot of value, doing a very nice job of being able to both use it defensively and that top push when that huge rotation came out from Big Dick Damage, turning that fight around. A nice isolation there on Jaina to be able to really start that rolling as the Zerg were coming out. So nice moves there. Flame Strike, no shock there coming out from Josh. On this map, it's all about wave clear. Full DPS build coming out with empowering the Serpent. Straight down to Water Dragon. A little bit extra blinds, but nothing too crazy. As far as the blinds go, it's mostly just about empowering that Serpent. Unfurling Spray, so full heal build. Other than Blink healed, they did decide to go Emerald Wind for that extra zoning, which is oh so important here on Braxis Holdout. So very nice build there coming out from Archer. They had plenty of heals to make it through, especially when they started to snowball. So when you're ahead, you don't need as many heals. Devil's Due. Lightning Breath coming out there, getting a lot of value for Diablo, where most of these are about zoning. Lightning Breath is going to be one of the big damaging abilities. So nice pick there by Zango, getting nice value from that extra damage. On the other side, for Big Dick Damage, Owl build coming out here from Tyrande, just full on damage. Of course, everybody takes that Overflowing Light at 13, definitely the most value talent there. Lingering Chill, getting that extra time on that slow, getting back extra mana, so that's nice. Of course, everybody goes Frostbitten. I didn't see a whole lot of value rings, but kind of hard to isolate anyone when you got such a beefy front line up front. Kind of hard to position as Jaina. I mean, nobody who saw that Chen pick coming. Let's be honest. That was a quite a clutch last pick. Getting the cooldown there on the mana. Everybody on this team needs mana, so Shando's Clarity getting some solid value. Tranquility coming out. Saw some decent third wind plays. Like I said, Apocalypse, especially early game, definitely knew how Murden worked. Was able to get Dwarf Toss on Out of Trouble there. So some nice play early. But like I said, I think it just snowballed, so we didn't get to see a whole lot of what was coming out from Big Dick Damage. I don't feel like they really hit their final form in this match. Just got a little bit too snowballed there as we went to the late game. But a very nice game there from East Coast Feeders. As I said, gonna even up their record at 2-2 on the season, working their way back into the playoff picture as we enter the second half of the season next week. And it's going to be really exciting to see where both of these teams go. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. I got another match coming up in just about half an hour, so don't go too far. I'll be back in just a little bit, and I'll see you guys soon.